So I'm Rhea, I'm here attending the Graduate Employability Conference, and some of the key points that I wanted to raise as a graduate recruiter in the accounting and finance industry was really around kind of some of the challenges that we're facing to let a lot of the higher education providers understand a little bit from the employer perspective what's going on, but also to raise some challenges and questions around things that we're thinking about to get some input into some of the ideas from a different perspective. And a lot of those questions that I raised were around attraction. How do we pick winners? How do we pick the best graduates from campus? And a lot of the tried and tested and old-fashioned routes that we're used to using, such as careers fairs, penultimate year internships, are they still the way to go, or are we just doing them because that's what we've always done? So some of those sort of questions posed to the higher education establishment to see if there are other ways that we should be considering. But also thinking about more about how we engage with the students, how we work together with the universities. I think from the discussions that I've had today, it's become very apparent that actually the universities and the graduate recruiters are very much on the same page, and we're fighting on the same team, and it's how we get that engagement from students, how we get our message across. We're quite often told from careers advisors that the students don't listen to them, they don't necessarily trust what they're saying, so they bring in employers to reiterate that message and say the same thing. But again, we still find that a lot of students are applying and haven't applied the tips and hints that we've given them. So how can we better engage with the students, and how can we really get that message across to them and sort of answer some of those challenges?
Okay, so I'm Becky McVittie. Today I was on the panel, the picking winners part of the session for the GEC conference. So what I was talking about was our assessment process at Npower, what we do to make sure we get the best people, and it's a good time for us really to come along to this because we have just revamped our assessment process. So we've gone, new competencies, integrated all those new competencies, making sure they're the right competencies for the right type of people that we want to be attracting, and basically put that into a process which now works to get us the right people. So I think that it was only a 10-minute presentation, but I think what was really interesting from that session was some of the questions that came out of it. A lot of the questions around your social mobility. So what are employers doing to make sure that when we're recruiting people, we're not leaving out kind of this wider group of diversity, making sure we're getting diverse applications from maybe your non-red brick uni. And I think that social mobility theme has been quite apparent across the whole conference. So I was just in the breakout session to do with social mobility, and what a lot of people are saying is it's the same sort of things around resource. There's a limited resource within graduate recruitment teams, so how do we spread ourselves? So for example, it's me and my one colleague in a graduate recruitment team. How do we spread ourselves around universities all across the country when there's however many institutions? You end up being drawn to the top universities based on league tables. So what a really interesting insight from EY was how they're kind of looking at all of their data to build their own league tables to actually see what really are the best universities for them, rather than using these traditional league tables, which mean you end up focusing on red brick. I think for us, we do some slightly innovative stuff around our intern recruitment. For example, with our competitions, very much open for anyone to apply to, and I'm always wanting support from universities to promote those competitions for us. They're great because they give the students employability skills while they're still at university. One of the questions was, how are we offering summer internships when a lot of students need to keep their part-time job throughout the whole year to even be able to afford to go to uni? So, my answer to that is, if they take part in our competition, it gives them employability skills. Even if they don't win the competition, they're getting those skills which they can then apply and use in an application form. For any job, not just for Npower, for any job, to then hopefully get through that process and get through the selection stages using those skills that they've learnt, as part of their interview process.